in these hallowed halls of many double agents.
Wonderful. Learn to code. We're doing it today. Um, yeah, if you're on campus, you're on campus. If you're watching from the YouTube, you're watching from the YouTube. It's interactive. I want y'all to feel free to mic up, sing your favorite song to the YouTube streams. We're not seeing your picture, but we're hearing your voice. No, but seriously, uh, learn to code. It's Thursday. It's the last day of the week. We're working on this like PEDRO executive dysfunction app. But I want to know what y'all are working on, right? We all code, right? We're developers, or at least we're learning to be. What are your personal projects right now? Feel free to kind of like popcorn in. Um, uh, is anyone working on anything cool in the class? No one. Really?
I successfully pushed automated post to Blue Sky this week from my terminal using
Oh,
and also successfully backed up that repo to Git and like put my credentials in an env, a .env, so that like Blue Sky doesn't actually have the, or excuse me, like those credentials don't get leaked um,
to
through
GitHub.
pushing the post. So those are all like really big firsts for me. I never had done that before. So yay.
How easy is working with Blue Sky's API? Like, was it fairly easy to get up and running with that, or was that hard?
I mean, I don't totally know how to answer that question. I'm using the 2 weeks to Python GPT supplied by Multiverse. And I will say that like part of this whole thing is like leaving Twitter for work and migrating to Blue Sky. And Blue Sky's Firehose protocol, I don't know, it felt kind of easy to me. Um, and the total lines of code involved in all of this is like 20 lines of code. It's like not that much. So I didn't have a super hard time.
Nice. That's awesome. Yeah, so this is cool. This is cool information, and thanks for sharing with us. So if you wanted to automate posts right now for Twitter or Instagram or Threads or any of like the big social media platforms, working with their API, getting a developer account, uh, sometimes you have to subscribe to that. Their APIs have become a lot more locked down in the last couple of years specifically. I know that once Elon Musk acquired X, that their API just kind of like went out the door. You used to be able to automate a bunch of stuff with Instagram and Twitter. Um, but they really caught on to that. So it's cool to know that Blue Sky allows for sort of like developers just to get in there and automate their own posts with it. Something that's also really cool about Blue Sky is you can find the sort of thought leaders that you follow on other platforms with like way smaller followings on Blue Sky, and they'll post like the same stuff really. So like well, I mean Hank Green has a lot of followers, but it's easier to get a hold of your the thought leaders that you're like you're generating parasocial relationships with on a platform like Blue Sky that's still a bit nuanced than it is on your Twitters and your Instagrams and your TikToks in certain cases. That's really cool. Is anyone else working on any other personal code projects? All right. This person says, I'm not a coder, but in Web3. Um, Interesting. Yeah, we just had our talk about who Satoshi is. Um, uh, if you're in Web3, you should learn to code. It's an important skill to have, especially as we go towards Web 4 and Web 5 and Web 6. Um, no, but seriously, in the chat, connection is unstable on my end. Gonna have to catch the YouTube. Thumbs up to that. I can also refresh in the multiverse campus because I was having uh, uh, mic issues with certain mics in the multiverse campus. So I'm back on now, and I'm sharing my screen again. Apologies, y'all. Cool. So we're all working on our personal coding projects. The group code project for this week was this executive dysfunction app. We're going to kind of vibe code it to the point of an MVP demo. But what are we working on? Do we remember? We remember what we're working on in this class? I haven't opened it since yesterday. So uh we're in for a treat. All right. So PEDRO, personal executive dysfunction relief operator. That's right. That's what we're working on. All right. And we have Dolly Parton coming in saying, well, hi there, sugar. Let's make today sparkle. We're gonna get another AI to help us with our day. Uh Samuel L. Jackson. Wonderful. Enough is enough. Let's get these tasks done. Uh, cool. So we added our tasks. We didn't do any of the. Oh, we did this. Cool. Now that's what I call a tasty completion. It's a glorified to-do list. We built a glorified to-do list. Like, come on. What does this need, yo? All right. So for those of you that don't know, or haven't had the experience of taking like a coding boot camp, the to-do list is like always the boot camp project. It's like week 1, hello world, a calculator and a to-do list application. So I don't want this to be a glorified to-do list, which it feels like right now. How do we get out of this world? We had a bunch of good ideas in the other days. I know we're still maybe waking up a little and getting our executive function working, but this is the executive function app. We could almost use our own brains as like uh to like meta cognition ourselves into what this app needs. What does this app need? Because right now it's uh it's it's not giving, as the younger generations would say. I do love this cute little raccoon. The cosmetic, it's okay. It's the I'm not a huge fan of the purple color scheme. Uh I added favorites of basic tasks. Next, I was going to start with the actual chat. Oh, you added some stuff. Ooh, all right. So that's a good point to make. So oh, people have forked. All right. So we had trouble branching. Or we just chose to fork the GitHub. So this is up on GitHub if you wanted to pull it and look at the code yourself. Did we have trouble creating our own branch? Is that why we forked, or did we just not know that that was an option? I just have no idea what I'm doing. Oh, but you do have an idea of what you're doing because you forked the GitHub repo. Um, and that's a good step. So what do I mean when I say somebody forked the GitHub repo? All right, those are a bunch of random words coming at you. If you're new to code, if you're new to the class. The GitHub repo is where we're storing the code for this application that we're building together. It's public, it's open source. Anyone can go in and just break the project completely if they wanted to. You can pull the project down. You can compile it on your computer. What you need to do that is a GitHub account. So, number one, if you don't know what GitHub is, make a GitHub account if you're learning to code. It's a great resource for coders, developers out there. The repository has all the code for this personal executive dysfunction relief operator, and there's a README in there. What the README has in it is it'll walk you through cloning the repo, getting everything ran, and if you got down to this part, which maybe you didn't, it'll walk you through making your own branch on the repo. We're using like feature naming conventions, right? So, let's see. I'm not gonna put you too much on the spot. Is that play? But you said you added favorites of basic tasks. So when you say that, what do you mean?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah,
Okay, awesome. And I can hear you too. Usually when I put on the mic, I can't hear anything anymore. So that's why I usually end up typing.
yeah.
Yeah, so on this one, in the to-do list, on the to-do list page, I basically added a bar, and you click on that bar and it will allow you to kind of select favorite daily tasks. So these are the things that you want to do every day. Like it's like, oh yeah, I want to drink water every day. I want to, go on a run every day. I need to. It's like all the tiny little tasks that you don't necessarily want to add to your full to do list because it'll clutter it up and make it kind of overwhelming. So basically, yeah, you click that, and Pedro will still recommend other to-do list items, but it'll kind of like default to these things, particularly when you're low. So I have like drink water, get out of bed, stuff like that. And you can also like add add some favorites. You can select difficulties. I made them like watermelons. Um, you can what else is on there? Yeah, there's a couple of different things, but I just focused on just getting like focusing on the feature, which is the favorite selections kind of thing.
Favorite selection. So how what files did you change? Just index or
Yeah, it's I don't have so I tried to set up VS Codium, but I don't actually know how to get Claude into it. And then Claude said because it's VS Codium to just like post the index file there and do that. So it was kind of rough because I don't have Claude in the same window. I'll probably just go back to VS Code because of that so that I can try to integrate them. I'm unclear on the costs of that and
do
stuff
you
too.
have a Claude account?
Yes, yeah, yeah. I
Uh,
have like a paid Claude account.
yeah, you yeah, on the $20 account you burn through tokens fairly quickly. Like but with a project like this, it would probably get you up and running with at least like a couple prompts. Um, but yeah, so to get Claude set up in VS Code in the terminal, you have to like run the Claude code install from the terminal. Let's look this up
Oh,
right now. So I actually want to get out of this Chrome. All right, dang. Claude install VS Code. All right, so for those of you who use Windows, um, here's some docs on how to get VS Code, Claude Code running in VS Code. So there is Claude Code in the terminal, and then there's also Claude Code as its own sort of chat window. Um, so I am running Claude Code from the terminal. So that's so see right here, it says this extension includes the CLI command line interface, which you can access from VS Code's integrated terminal. I run Claude Code from the command line interface in a Linux terminal. So I'm like kind of stacking things weird in VS Code. On VS Code on Windows is going to default to a PowerShell terminal. You can run Claude from a PowerShell terminal. Where it gets kind of wacky is if you're compiling and you're working on programs that were built on Mac or Linux, you run into weird like escape cases. I don't know what they're called, but the weird sort of syntax gets botched. So I run it from Linux and then our WSL, and then when it has issues, I tell it to just like bash the syntax. Yeah, no, if you miss the first couple lessons, this is very much something that you can do async. There's no you had to be here on Monday so you could hear me talk about all the horrible things that are going on in the world. No, you're it's at any point you want to come in. Can you show the command prompt for running it from the terminal? For running it from the terminal? Yeah, let's get into it. I was just about to do that. Thanks for reminding me. All right, so my head is blocking it for the YouTube viewers. All right, so here you can see, and sorry that the text is probably super small on your screen. Let's actually make it annoyingly big. So in the tab over here on VS Code, you can see that I have a PowerShell open, which Windows defaults to a PowerShell terminal, and then I have a WSL or Linux terminal open. So you can go to terminal, and this is a hamburger right now because we're so zoomed in, but generally you got this this view tab. Or is it view? No, it's terminal tab and then new terminal. And that's going to open up this terminal down here, or control shift. What is that? Not a comma, not a tilde, something, apostrophe. I don't know what that is. But yeah, a tick mark. Anyways, so once you have the terminal open, you can do it in PowerShell. You can do it in WSL. You can do it in. You wouldn't want to use the JavaScript debug terminal. Git bash probably wouldn't work. Command prompt would work if you had it installed on your Windows path, right? If you use the documentation that I put into the chat, it's going to install it on your Windows path if you're on Windows. And then if you're on a Mac or a Linux, it'll install it through the terminal there. Anyway, so I'm in Ubuntu. The command is just Claude, right? And that's gonna open Claude. And then Claude's here. Hey, what's up? Blah 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 blah. But I'm gonna close him and clear. So something that I run Claude with on my machine, which is helpful when you kind of just like know what is on your machine and you want to give Claude access to all folders, or you want to have like Claude running while you're off doing something else, is Claude, this flag that I use is dangerously skip permissions. And now I know what you're saying. You're thinking right now. You're like, why dangerously skip permissions? Because it asks for a lot of, it'll be like, can I open this folder? 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 And if you know what you're giving it access to, and you're on like a pretty locked down or sandboxed machine, it's not an issue to you're gonna be like constantly getting questions from Claude and just asking you if it can read certain folders. And so I generally use the dangerously skip permissions flag. If you're somebody who has a bunch of stuff on your computer that you don't want Claude to be looking at, then don't run it with this flag. But it's generally a flag that I use with Claude. So now we are in our Claude, and
You
we're
can sandbox that, or it's like, limit Claude only to, these tree of coding folders or something like that.
totally, yeah. There's a bunch of ways that you can like sort of keep Claude contained. One way to sort of sandbox Claude is running Claude within a VPS, or on maybe a laptop that you're not, that you don't use too often. Anyways, I feel like the issue with the advent of OpenClaw and Moltbook and all this sort of this accelerationist security vulnerabilities, is people are giving it access to machines that aren't sandboxed correctly. Anyways, this is just Claude. It's not OpenClaw. It's not, he's not going on Reddit and giving everyone my API keys, but I do. Anyways, so we got Claude here, and we have our program here. We just pulled in plays index. I think we copied the raw file of that. So we'll say, hey, Claude, can you take a look at index.html and index_play.html and run a quick git diff on these, and explain to me the difference between these files? So git diff, this is a command that we could run on our own. And it will kind of tell you what has been added, what's been subtracted from specific files. So having Claude do this obviously
Job is done.
Speeds it up. Did you mean to compare index play against one of those? Index.html does not exist. Index. Okay. Index.html is in PEDRO, so it had trouble finding it. I am new to Linux and been
Job is
using
done.
the Claude to learn Linux terminal to work on Nano. So my hope is to learn from there. Is there an advantage to run Claude on the PC versus advantage to run Claude on the PC versus on internet? Do you mean like the difference between running Claude as just like the Claude text box program versus running Claude code? It's always going to use the internet. The advantage to running Claude code in the terminal is that it has the context of the files that it's looking at. So when you set up, like when you're just using Claude, when you're just using Claude as like the chat bot, um, it it doesn't have context of the project you're working on unless you point it to that project somehow. So I could ask Claude, like, hey, can you update the Pedro app so that the icon is a star emoji? And it's gonna be like, I don't know what you're talking about, right? Um,
Yeah,
and
dragging the files from Pedro project into here is basically how I did things, and I would prefer to have it, all actually in the code IDE, so that I can see what's going on. Because going back and forth after the AI added like a ton of things is kind of difficult. But one thing that was really cool is that in the online boxes, when Claude like edits and does things, it actually shows you, it like sets up that whole localhost thing just within uh that that
context.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, so that you can see it and test it and check it out and stuff.
Yeah, yeah. And the thing is, it has access to the internet. So if like this Claude doesn't have context about the Pedro app because I haven't worked on the Pedro application within the context of Claude on as like an application, right? But I could link it to the GitHub, right? The GitHub's like open and running. And so if we link Claude to where did I throw the GitHub? Is it here? If we link Claude to the GitHub, and somebody named Infinite Sight also on the GitHub, that's great. Um, y'all are forking the GitHub. If I link Claude to the GitHub, it can look through that now. There's ways to provide Claude context, and one of those ways, and the way that you should know if you're learning to code and you're learning to be a developer is through your IDE of choice. Um, and IDE stands for Internal Development Environment. What does IDE stand for? Integrated Development Environment, software application that provides a comprehensive all-in-one interface for programmers to write, test, and debug code, right? So this is like some like context alignment that's super important for coding. It might sound basic because it's like really foundational to understanding how these things work, but you have to start with how are you looking at your code? How are you writing your code? How are you updating your code? How are you deploying your code, right? If it's all happening in VS Code, Claude should be within your accessible from IDE, from the IDE, from VS Code, right? So, and that's like a huge step, right? Because years ago I was using Copilot, GitHub Copilot. At that time it was like a nightmare, right? It barely had any context of what was going on. Even within the IDE you still had to copy and paste lines of text from the specific files that you were looking at. I was going so far as like going back and forth from ChatGPT, copy and pasting ChatGPT into the code, and it doesn't have context of the full file system of what you're working on. It cannot update those files. You're way more likely to copy and paste lines of code that are gonna like break your program if it doesn't compile. You have to give it context of the errors that it's getting back. So way more efficient to just have Claude in your running in your uh IDE, right? So I asked it to update the icon. So that's what it's doing. So since it's on the GitHub, it knows that and it changed the manifest.json. But where did these files go? They exist within the context of this prompt. So I would have to download those files, take them back into GitHub and push them to my repo, right? If the repo is public, you can have Claude look at it through the link, which is really cool. It doesn't need to be your own repository, but you're gonna have to figure out a flow for downloading all those files from Claude, compiling them on your machine. You may not have the right tool set, and it could just be a bummer. So working from the IDE directly, you can get some pretty cool results. So what do we have here? All right, so indexplay.html is missing a final new line character at the very end of the file. All right, so it's not it. I think I might have pulled the same file. Did you commit and push play? Do you remember?
Yes, I did.
All right. So this is just on my end.
Any I think it told me it's like 600 and something lines and that there are no conflicts.
Wonderful. All right. You don't have any forks of this repository. What the frick? Right. All right, I'm just going to clone your repo and bring it in here. So let's make dir. Is that? All right, so we will go into PEDRO play and we're going to clone play's version of PEDRO and then open this. Cool. All right, we got Samuel L. Jackson again. Blah, 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 blah. So how do I test this favorites thing that you added?
There should be a bar at the top that, or like a bar under the roll that pops up.
Weird.
How come it's not?
It's okay if I'm probably doing something wrong here. So but yeah, so 3 commits, fix it, blah blah blah. Remove tracking, add, read me.
If you go to, oh yeah, that says on now, press play. How come?
We
Do I need to?
are
I had something last night where I was like, it was having me add comments to, I don't know how to put it back. That's a bummer.
no, it's
Can
okay.
I ask a question related to like what's happening right now?
Yeah.
I am new to the terminal, but I have been using it and I'm following along. So like you have just cloned plays fork into your directory and something's not working, right? So um, when I do this, when I'm vibe coding and stuff, and I'm like making new directories and it's like, oh, I fucked it up. How do you like go back and like delete the thing? Do you know what I mean? So you don't end up with like a dozen fucked up directories with the thing that you didn't want to happen.
Yeah, so uh the what we're seeing is like a lack of there being changes to
Right.
plays fork that was made. How we go back and delete the like go back a step and delete the mess up is so the Pedro play file is completely that is like I made a new directory that holds the clone of plays uh repo, right? So those are all the files that would, you know, I wouldn't want in the folder anymore. So I could tell Claude like, "Hey, whatever we just did, we messed up." But Claude doesn't have context that I added plays Git repo, right? Because I did that outside of Claude code. The way that I do that, this is just like kind of like basic organization, right? If I'm pulling in an entirely different project, I'll put it into another file. So what I did on Windows on PowerShell, and this is similar on Mac, but probably uses different syntax. I think it might actually be the syntax. Is I just made a whole new file that was called Pedro Play. So I made it in the project file that I'm working on, and then we have that, and then in the IDE you can delete that folder, and easy peasy, right? It's like it never happened. If Claude does something that you're like it's like project breaking, a good habit that to get into if it is a Claude code that is running in a program that has like a GitHub repo, like a context of a Git repo, get Claude into the habit of committing for you, right? Then Claude has context of the version history and like has like complete context of version control. And so then when Claude makes a change, we can like check out a specific branch. So the feature build that we're doing today, if we were to start a new feature build today, pulling in plays updates, we can check out that branch and then start updating based off that. So I'll CD into Pedro. That just like goes into that file, and then I'm gonna make sure that you can see this on the screen. So CD Pedro, we're in Pedro's file now, or we're in the main file of the project. We can run a git status. All right. So it's saying that we have un untracked files. We're not going to add these files just yet, because we didn't manage to get them working. Um, so
Where the files are, by the way, if you go to vrnico/Pedro, under pull requests, you can see the two features that sorry.
sweet. Under pull request.
It shows on mine, but not yours, because I see two pull requests, one from Infinite Insight and one from Now Press Play.
There we
There it is.
go. Wonderful. Cool. All right. So I got really turned around with this. So I am going to delete this. If those pull requests live within the repo right now, and then I am going to entirely delete the PEDRO play. And because those were never tracked, we don't have to worry about it. But I am going to ask Claude, hey Claude, we had some pull requests come in for this project. How do I test those pull requests and merge? All right.
Job is done.
Job is done. Sorry, I always forget get syntax. I'm like, all right, so let me check what's set up for the repo. Blah 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 blah. GHCLI not available or GSCL blah 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 blah. You're not logged in and need to log in. You have test a PR locally. To check out a PR branch locally, no, just use bash to log in to GitHub. It should work. Or give me the direct commands to run. Oh, it's gonna open all my, it's doing some weird stuff with my Git login because I'm using WSL versus PowerShell, but
Job
this
is done.
solid troubleshooting. No, I don't want you to show me how to log into GitHub. I want you to show me how to test the pull requests on this repo. Thank you. You have access to Git. You have been committing to Git. You have been doing things with GitHub. You've been doing stuff with the repo. So, I don't know what to say to you, buddy. Sorry. This is me like being rude to Claude. Don't talk to your Claudes like I talk to my Claude, unless you're he says, fair enough. Let me just fetch and see what's going on there.
Supposed to be the shit sandwich, right? Like, so you say a
I
nice
mean,
thing,
it's,
Claude, a bad thing, and then a nice thing.
yeah, yeah, yeah. All right, it sees
Job
it.
is done.
Want me to check out one of them so you can test it or do a code review on either PR? All right, to test either one, you can check out the branch. Check out, switch to branch, PR1. All right, so we've checked out Git status on branch. All right, so I guess that's just the syntax. I should have remembered that. I know git checkout PR1. So now we should be successfully in bop 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 this favorite daily system with custom tasks. So if we were to open the file that's associated with it. And that's another thing that annoys me about this application is we're just like, we're just one big, oh, there we go. Look. Mwah. Okay. Wonderful. It took us a little bit, but we did it.
It's
We
like,
have
no
the
way, I spent all that time and it's gone.
yeah, no, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for even making you think that. But yeah, so we
Just
got
on
the
my side, because I was like, oh, I probably put it in the wrong folder, did something.
oh wow, and you added a bunch of them. Oh, and then the watermelon ranking system because the raccoon eats watermelons. Is that our
Yeah, I was
is
gonna try and make some sort of reward system or so you can like track how much you've been getting done and stuff like that.
and PEDRO eats watermelons? That's cool. For when I'm feeling low, okay, happy. Cool. So we can do harder tasks when we're in a better mood. That makes sense.
At the bottom, you can add your own tasks. So
I really like this. I think that's great. Great use of emojis. Do a hard task. Pay a bill, make an appointment. Job interview, or I don't know. That's a hard task. Wonderful. I love it. Very, very like Finch coded, but better. I like it. I think the favorite dailies is great. So, what we would do then is we check out the favorite dailies. It's ready to merge. I would say wonderful job. Love the favorite dailies. And then we'll also little trick I learned. Windows period pulls open an emoji search. Windows period or Windows and the greater than symbol pulls open emoji. I don't know. I didn't know that until
amazing. I need that.
somewhat recently. So then I would merge the pull request. It successfully merged. Wonderful. And then we have infinite insight in there, themes and celebrations. All right, looks like they got Claude to work on it with them. Tight. We see we can tell because we have this like partner commit going on with the Claude logo. And look at all these commits. So what do you think is going to happen here if I were to check out PR2? Does anybody know? So now that we're in another branch and we've committed or we've merged the PR from play, there might be uh kind of changes that are, you know, significant enough to break some of the site. There might not be, you know, so we'll see. All right, so see, we lose the favorite dailies button, but we get this like themes mode. We have a when to celebrate, random, 50% chance, milestone only, show confetti. Wow, okay. We got sound effects? Oh my god. Woohoo! You can't hear it on the campus, but I'm spamming these because I love them. We could probably make some sort of like synth out of this. Bump, 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 bump. All right. Sorry, that was really annoying and unnecessary. Actually, no, it was necessary. Ocean Breeze. Let's try it out. Cool. Actually, great job, internal, whoever that was. Infinite Insight. Infinite Insight. Bravo. Bravo. Play. Pull requests, y'all. I didn't explain to you how to do PRs. You just did it. That's awesome. I don't even know. Cool. So Infinite Insights in there. Uh, let's run a check on Infinite Insights. I'm gonna ask Claude actually. All right, so I merged PR1. Now PR2 by Infinite Insight. When I check out that branch, we lose the updates from PR1. Can you check to see that the updates from PR1 are still working and get them to work alongside Infinite Insights PR? And now Claude's doing his thing, marinating. But. It's a big diff. So PR2 restructured things. It extracted. All right. Let me read PR2's files to understand the structure. So what does that mean? It's a big diff. It's a big diff. There was a lot of changes that we made. What we're proving right now is why it's important to use GitHub when we're working on teams, when we're working on group projects. Otherwise, we start making changes um, to features on main at the same time when we're working concurrently or asynchronously concurrently. Um, there's likely to be application breaking changes that are made, and both of these PRs are valid and offer something completely new and really tight for the Pedro application. Um, I'm so stoked that y'all made pull requests. Like, that's tight. Like, I know this, I'm not trying to like to 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 baby the class too much, but I love waking up and seeing pull requests on the group project. That's really cool. And if you ever want like just sandboxes to experiment and test out uh your GitHub skills, these projects are the opportunity to do that, you know? This is where we're supposed to be kind of experiencing, oh, I had an application breaking PR, like, better do it with the learn to code multiverse class than, when you're working on a project that handles other people's money or data, right? So, like, better to do it with Pedro, the executive dysfunction raccoon application, than, on some Ethereum contract for I don't know, whatever. It's but yeah, super tight. Does anyone have
Job
any
is done.
like last minute ideas of things that we should throw at the application? An application's never finished, This is our MVP. Um,
Hoping that we could do the actual like chat aspect, because I know that you were talking about your API and other things. I don't know if that's something that we do just momentarily to see how that would work to keep your API private, and then or how that works, or your key. Sorry.
cool, yeah. So now we see favorite dailies and the themes are working together. Um, oh, why doesn't confetti work? You're one bad dude. Respect. Oh my God! Did anyone see that? Yes. All right. Make the little raccoon appear again. Yeah, 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 yeah. Woo, 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 woo. All right. Love it. Love it. But I don't like the square around Pedro. I would want to turn him transparent. Anyways, we'll find the circle. The AI, getting the AI chat feature to work with this. That is a step that I definitely want to put in here. So let's quad API key. Get my API key. All right, I'm gonna have to do this in another screen. Um, sorry, y'all. So we'll sign in. Go onboarding. Ba, ba, ba. We'll call the API key Pedro. Uh, and I'll save my API key. Actually, you know what? It's just $5. So I don't think the worst you could do is make $5 worth of requests to this API key. All right, I have API key. Can we link up the personalities to the API key so they're actually saying stuff that goes along with their character archetypes and has an understanding of context of what the tasks are in the case that the tasks are in text? All right, we will see. So, for those of you that are wondering what I am doing right now, I'm setting it up with the Claude API key. What's the difference between a Claude subscription and an API key? Does anybody in the class know? We talked about this yesterday. All right, so your Claude subscription is like your coding account, your personal assistant, your Claude, right? You're working with Claude on the computer. It's an application. You're working with Claude code, right? The way that an API key differs is if I am setting up a program where I want my users to have access to Claude, whether it is this to-do list, executive dysfunction application where we want the a sort of like chat bot to give uh answers to the user that have knowledge of the context of the tasks that they're completing. Another use case for like using a Claude API, there's tons of them, but if you want like sort of uh like reference to images, Claude can do that. So like a user enters an image and then there's some sort of like, oh, this is a picture of a ball and a cat, you know? If you wanted to parse through text, right? You could have a Claude API key do that. So somebody enters
Job is done.
a link to a Instagram post, and then Claude's API would look at the picture and read the context of the description and then take that data and put it into another form, right? Information parser, right? So AI prompt gives Claude. All right, so settings panel now has AI personality stored in local storage. Ooh, stored in local storage. When you add or complete it, it immediately shows a static fallback. All right, if they blah blah blah. All right, so local storage would mean that I set up the API key myself. All right, so weird, weird, right? But let's see if it works. I'm not trusting it. All right, so that's my API key. We can't see it, right? Does that save? What needs doing? All right, so we'll roll for a new character. Um, Wednesday Adams. I find your task equally tedious and delightful. Let's despair through it together. Did anyone add Wednesday Adams? No. Uh-oh. The AI is screwing with our application now. This is exciting. All right. Let's add a task. What's something that Wednesday would be supportive of? Uh
The
Uh,
teacher's closet or something.
what was that?
Or something.
I didn't hear it again. I'm sorry. Any ideas? Wednesday Adam task. Put spiders in the lunchroom. Put spiders in the lunchroom. All right. You're guilty. Thing I approve of this endeavor. All right. So quick the responses that we saw there. Can we leave the responses from the AI up for a little longer? Those toast messages go by way too quickly. So when I say toast messages, I'm 90% sure that it's using this framework called Toast, which makes those little modals appear. So yeah, it is using Toast, so it has this like way too quick of a timeout. Um,
Job is done.
Static messages still show for AI generate. So this is cool too because like we've essentially built like a local to-do list that you could get your own API for, right? If I were to like the next step, if I wanted to make this like user facing so that everyone could use it, I would like have to make my API key for use with this application, deploy it with the application. The other situation would be walking people through entering their API key. Walking people through entering their own API key for an app that's supposed to help with executive dysfunction is like a really good way to get the primary user base of your app to never use your application. So it's just something to think about with like the design of it all. Cool. So Wednesday Adams is in there. Let's just check. It has all right. So it has what is it doing right now with this API key? It's storing the API key in local storage. So when you use your browser, when you're on Chrome, when you're on Safari on your phone, Chrome on your phone, it has local storage, right? So that's how you have like sort of cached data on sites. Not just like autofill, but like it's like the kind of persistence of browser-based experiences. So we're storing all of my settings here in local storage. So my theme, the sound effects, the Anthropic API key, that's in local storage. The favorite dailies, when I add custom tasks to those, that would also be in local storage, right? That's not actually storing to a database within the project itself. We don't have a database, I don't think. Do we have a database? No. All this stuff is kind of hard coded, which makes it like sort of it's an MVP. It's a demo, right? But it's a demo that has a functioning AI working in it, which is crazy. Excellent work distributing my eight-legged friends. Your commitment to workplace chaos is truly inspiring. That is not just you know, a basic response. Like we didn't hard code in a response to spiders in the lunchroom, right? So let's roll again. Are these AIs random? All right, so Mr. Rogers was a default AI that we hard coded, but now it's saying it's a beautiful day in the neighborhood for getting things done. All right, cool. Uh, uh, task, buy myself, 4 cardigans that are all different colors. Um, oh, what a wonderful idea. I think you're going to look mighty fine in those cardigans, neighbor. Cool. It knows that we're doing cardigans. You've made the. I'm so proud of you for getting those cardigans. You've made. All right. So generic, right? AI is fun, but it's, it could do better. So, how do we get it to be like more dialed in? All right, so I like the AI like saying stuff uh that is encourage words of encouragement, but I want the AI to also look at what tasks we're doing and suggest tasks based off of the other tasks that we're doing. What should it be based off of, like other things too? What else should we add here? We can get the AI to do some cooler stuff that we're not doing, I feel. Anybody have any ideas? All right, we have some talk in the chat. Would it matter if I use a different LLM, let's say Codex, or would you recommend Claude instead? Um, this application is built for the Anthropic Claude API. You could use another LLM if you wanted to, right? You would have to set it up to intake the key from that. However, Rainbow Chain Boater on app, if that was what you're asking. Oh, right. Purple Perception has some good ideas. All right, so what we're doing. Also, the AI should give us a introductory uh survey after we spin for it, so it understands who we are while remaining in character, of course. All right. So like the AI then becomes your sort of executive assistant, right? When you roll for an AI, it's going to be like, "Hey, I'm Mr. Rogers. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Like, how are you feeling today? Are you stressed? Like, what's the number one task that you need to focus on? Stuff like that." And then all right, so the survey chat modal appears after spin. Personality asks 3 questions in character via chat-like UI. Let's look at this build that it's moving forward with. Ugh, because I made the text so large, it's not letting me see it. Uh, now add the CSS for suggest modal and suggest button. AI suggest button next to the task input. Suggest task based on context and user profile. All right, user profile in state that persists the survey answers, right? So this is what all to-do list applications are missing. Like Finch doesn't have this. Anytime you're making a to-do list, there's no user persistence awareness. It cannot suggest tasks to you. It can only give you a sandbox to write those tasks, right? $5 in a Claude API. I'll I don't know how long it would take me to burn through that with just like conversational to-do list. If I made this open to the public, I could see how maybe 5 to 10 users could obliterate that bank of tokens within a couple days. So right now the app has no way for people to like share API keys or for me to deploy this and then everyone uses my API key. Um, I'm not going to post the API key to GitHub because we don't post API keys to GitHub ever. Don't do it. Please don't
Job is
ever do
done.
that. But yeah, it's so job's done. Both features fall back gracefully if there's no API key set. All right, so let's give it a refresh. We will roll for a new character, and we should get a little survey. Oh, it's throwing randos in there. Snoop Dogg. Yo, what's good, cuz? I'm Snoop, your boy. But hey, what should I be calling you? What's your name, Fo Shizzle? My name is Neek, and I'm ready to executive function. Yo, Neek, my G, I dig that energy, nephew. So check it. What we working with today? You got work stack, you got personal bids calling, or we're mixing it all. I'm teaching a learn to code class and wrapping up an MVP for our executive function application. That's what I'm talking about. Real talk though, because how you feeling right now? Scale of 1 to 10, or just lay it on me straight. An 8. I feel pretty good. That's what's up. So real talk, Neek, what's the one thing you've been dodging that would hit different once it's done? So many things. I have to take a fix-it ticket to court and pay for it. This is like we got this. Let's tackle that ticket and keep the MVP rolling. All right. Cool. So now we have this AI suggestions button. Snoop Dogg suggests thinking. Cool. All right. Wow. This is awesome. All right. Review MVP feedback and prioritize next fixes. All right. Break down court ticket into baby steps. And it has like a little Snoop Dogg description under it. Take a 15-minute walk outside, no phone. Prepare next week's lesson materials. Fold laundry while listening to beats. That's Snoop Dogg being like Snoop Dogg about it. Okay, we did it. This is PEDRO is looking more like an application, right? To me, this is cool. I may or may not use something like this. I would definitely want to tool with it a little bit more before deploying it and making this an application that I would consider offering the people of the internet. But we'll post this to GitHub and like continue working on it if you want. That's another learn to code application for the books. This one is cool. Wow, this is so awesome. Great job, Claude. We did it together. We did it with the class. We're very excited about this. Can you make sure to commit all of these changes? Make sure we're on the main branch and push to GitHub. Thank you. I might not be able to push to GitHub. I might have to do that manually. But cool. That's it. That's PEDRO. It's I don't want to act like I'm too surprised, but I am a little bit surprised in the way that this feels less like an MVP than anything that we've worked on. Uh, it's like we're moving out of sort of minimum viable, and we're getting into a place where we have like a working version of the application, right? Uh, Things that we'd still need to consider, right? We're asking people to manually add their API key. That's not great, you know. Asking people to manually add an API key on an executive function app is gonna lose users, right? You know, for coders, for people that work with Claude, maybe they know how to get that API key quickly. I'm gonna say 95% of the people that are using this application will not want to do that. Uh what else? It's not deployed. It's not on a website.
Job is done.
It's not accessible. You have to compile it on your computer. You can't get to it on your phone. These are all things that are infrastructural, architectural issues that we've had classes where we've walked through deploying to Vercel before. Um, uh, if you wanted to kind of try doing that on your own, by all means, use the PEDRO app as a way to do that. If you're really interested in working on the PEDRO app and you've been following along, I'll DM me on the Matrix server. I'll send you my API key that I've kind of designated for this specific application, so you can test your build with that. Um, I don't know. Any other ideas that you have that you want to put into Pedro? It would you know, I'm open to
Job
it.
is done.
I'm stoked on those PRs y'all made. So let's see. Where did I have the GitHub for this class? All right, so we got this push, and then where was my Snoop Dogg for shizzle? Let's product tizzle. Let's call this one more time. Research court date. Alright. Or actually, get it better. Now he's saying to hire a lawyer or research self-represent. No, dude, I'm gonna pay for the it's $20. It's a bad idea, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg is my legal advisor through Pedro app. So cool. Well, how does that work? All right. Get that email drafted for Shizzle. Your users want to hear from the real MVP. Yeah, that's how we do it, baby. I didn't get an email out, but I just like all right, we're gonna do it one more time just for funsies. It's adding random. Does anyone see that there's just like random ones that we didn't? Bob Belcher is now. I'm Bob, and I'm gonna help get your stuff organized. Cool. All right. Well, I really need to figure out a way to end this class, and I have to go to the bathroom. Like, I get it. Bathroom breaks are important, and that's totally valid. But real quick before your dash, are you feeling overwhelmed? Or you just, now I feel okay. Just have to head out. Well, hey, no problem at all. Go take care of what you got to do. But when you get back, I'm curious, what's one thing you've been putting off there? Uh, I have to end this learn to code class gracefully. but I don't know how to do that. You got this. Come back anytime you need help. Good luck with everything. All right. Cool. Thanks, Bob. I think I like tripped it up by saying, all right, email instructor about exit plan, write goodbye message for students. All right. We'll write a goodbye message for students. Did it add it? All right. Look. All right, cool. It was kind of buggy with that. We just noticed. All right. So goodbye message for students. Uh, all right. We did great. We built Pedro. Now go code something today. All right. This is a goodbye message for the students. We did great. We built Pedro. Now go code something. Y'all are awesome. I am going to head out right now. I will see you next week on Monday at 10 a.m.